Sorry about that. And now, starting from Pelham Bay Park. Pelham Bay Park is a terminus station. And there's 2 abandoned platforms on each side. And yeah. So, moving on to Brewer Avenue. At Brewer Avenue are side platforms. And yeah. So at Middletown Road, you could so at Pelham Parkway, I'm not in Pelham Parkway. At Middletown Road, I guess there's like a Middletown. There's like a station called Middletown Road, so I guess they just wanted to call it that. Moving on to Westchester Square, East Tremont Avenue. West Farm Square, East Tremont Avenue is a terminus station, actually, for like track maintenance. Yeah. And now at Zariga Avenue, this is the only station called Zariga Avenue. And then at Castle Hill Avenue, this is a station before another terminus station. And then at Parkchester is a terminus station for 6 express trains. And this is actually the last stop. This is actually the last stop for Rush. Some 6 trains end here. Some go all the way to Pelham Bay Park. And then at St. Lawrence Avenue, this is the only station. And then there's not much history at St. Louis and Elder Avenue. And now I'll just let y'all look at this. See the trains that are going to Parkchester. And then at Wakelock Avenue, there's a station called Woodlawn. So that might actually be a second name for Woodlawn. And then at Hunts Point Avenue is a terminus station. And it's the first station underground but during in the Bronx. And then at Longwood Avenue, you could transfer to the 4 train at 167th Street. And then at East 149th Street, you could transfer to the 2, 4, and 5 trains here by walking to 149th Street Station. And then there's not much history about East 143rd Street, Cypress Avenue, or Brook Avenue. And now let's go on to 3rd Avenue, 138th Street. And 3rd Avenue, 138th Street, 6 trains do end here sometimes at rush hour, part is suspended, and during track maintenance or signal modernization. At 125th Street, you could transfer to the 4 and 5 trains. And then at 116th Street is a local station. 4 trains stop here. And then at 110th Street, 4 train stops here too, because of track maintenance at night. Also at 96th Street and 103rd Street, 77th Street, 68th Street, 51st Street, 33rd Street, 28th Street, Asker Place, Bleecker Street, Spring Street, and Canal Street. So let's go on to 86th Street. So at 86th Street, you can transfer to the 4 and 5 trains. And then at 59th Street, you can transfer to the F and Q train by walking to the Lexington Avenue 63rd Street station. And then at 14th Street Union Square, at 33rd Street, you could transfer to the M34 Street Select Bus Service. And then at 14th Street Union Square, you could transfer to the B to the NQRL 4 and 5 trains, and the M14. And then at Bleecker Street, you could transfer to the B, D, F, and M trains as Broadway Lafayette Street. And then at Spring Street, there's another Spring Street. You could transfer to the E train. And then at Canal Street, you could transfer to the 6J, NQ, R, W, and Z trains. And then you can, and then at, Brooklyn Bridge City Hall is the terminus station. And then you could go through the City Hall loop. And you can transfer to the J and Z trains. And that'll be the end for the and that'll be the end for the 6 line. See y'all on the 7 line. Bye.